take ownership. Take extreme ownership. Don't make excuses. Don't blame any other person or any other thing.
Because you are creating your own production. You are the star of your show. You are the director. You're writing the script. And you will determine whether your life is, you determine that. Working on yourself, talking to yourself. That's so very important.
It's like the first thing you want to do is dispense with the idea that you get to have any permanent security outside of your ability to contend and adapt. You're paying a price by sitting there being miserable.
Yeah.
And if you're miserable in your job now and you change nothing, in 5 years you'll be much more miserable and you'll be a lot older.
Get control of your ego. Don't hide your delicate pride from the truth. Take ownership of everything in your world, the good and the bad.
You know, if you take people, and I've told you this, and you expose them voluntarily to things that they are avoiding and are afraid of, you know, that they know they need to overcome in order to meet their goals, their self-defined goals. If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger.
Changing your behaviors, overcoming negative habits, it's challenging. It's hard. That living alone is just very difficult. And once we begin to come to grips with the fact that living is difficult, life is very challenging. So how do we begin to nurture that hunger? What are the characteristics or the qualities of people that are hungry? What will it take for me to get some of the things that I want? Being hungry for those things. Number one, you've got to work on yourself. It's very important that you engage in an ongoing process to develop you. Spend more time on yourself than what you've been spending.
Success and failure are generally slow processes, either slowly building things up or gradually tearing down. You've got to pay attention. You have to watch. You have to watch every single second.
You're not going to make your dreams come true. You're just not. We're not wired that way. You weren't born that way. You weren't that way when you were growing up, and you're certainly not that way as an adult. And there's a tremendous amount of liberation that comes when you accept the fact that you're always going to need to give yourself a push.
The clock is ticking.
Because those seconds, they turn into minutes. And minutes turn into hours, and hours turn into days, and days turn into years.
If for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, by your own definitions, right, within the value structure that you've created, to the degree that you've done that, what would you be like?
They take relentless pursuit day in and day out. That's what it takes.
I wish I had not waited 14 years. Somebody said if you want to lose something, lose money. You can get that back. 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. Walt Disney filed bankruptcy 7 times and had 2 nervous breakdowns. But don't lose time.
One of the things I have realized, and many of us have, if you want something out of life, if you want to change yourself, if you want to acquire something, if there's some goal that you want to reach, that is really not easy as some people will make us feel.
And so, that second that just went by, that counted. And so did that second. And so did that one. And in those precious seconds, you were either building or you were decaying. You were either gaining ground or you were losing ground.